I want to welcome you guys back into CmitchClips. I know it's been a little bit. I haven't put out an episode in about 10, 11 days, but we're back. We're back. This is going to be episode 4. I'm your host, Christian Mitchell, as always, joined alongside my special guest, longtime friend and current Susquehanna football player, Brian Layton. B-Lay, how are we feeling today, man?
Dude, I'm feeling great. I'm glad to finally get on your pod. I've been impressed with the work you've been doing at Coastal, so just glad to be here today.
Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate the listens, of course. Not too much on me, but so you're at Susquehanna Football, which is a D3 university here in Pennsylvania, and honestly, not to say not to throw shade or anything, but not too well known of a university. So how did you find Susquehanna, and what were those aspects that you were looking for when you chose to play there?
Honestly, it's a funny story. So I was getting recruited senior year of high school, obviously, and I wasn't there when Susquehanna came to Springfield. So I was in Nashville, and I got I got a text on Twitter from our head coach, Coach Perk. Shout out Coach Perk and Ruley and the whole staff. But yeah, they really wanted me to come visit, so we had a Zoom call because I missed when he came to our school, and ended up going up and right on the Susquehanna River, right near Penn State, 45 minutes away. So really just looking for a place that won, that likes to win, has a winning culture, and Susquehanna was exactly that, and they built that. So I just wanted to help continue that tradition.
For sure, yeah. That campus, after being up there last weekend, beautiful. I didn't really have any expectations. Like I didn't think it out of my head. Stepped down there, I'm like, damn, like this is a nice little town for real. Go to the football house, everything. That was nice. As you mentioned, though, the winning culture and everything is something that Susquehanna is no stranger to. Something they built over the last, really few years.
Yeah.
Although your first 2 years there, you've had success, like very good past 2 regular seasons, just hasn't been able to translate as much to the postseason. So how do you rebound, and what is your mindset going into an off season after having 2 rough ends in a row?
Honestly, as cliche as it sounds, just using those losses as building blocks, because the conversations we have as a team, we know the first year we lost to Utica first year. And it was our first time in the playoffs in a while for the program. So everyone was pretty new to it, and we were like, okay, we're here. Now it's time for us to take the next step. This year, tough loss to Grove City, where we felt so much better about this game. We felt like we played so much better, but in the end, football is a game of inches. It ended like that. So we were right there, and we feel so much closer. So honestly, just using that experience and being like, okay, you can go 10-0 2 years in a row, 20-0 regular season for the past 2 years. But honestly, it doesn't really matter per se if you can't get the job done when you get to where the lights get brighter in the playoffs. So honestly, yeah, just using those as stepping stones and continue to grow our program. We have a big freshman class that came in this year, so we're looking at them to step up, and I definitely think they can do that. And yeah, just helping continue the program. Building a strong program helps recruit people, and it just continues and continues. So yeah.
For sure, put some of that recruiting crass credit to the past 2 undefeated regular seasons. While it's not the ultimate goal, it's still something to be proud of. Big achievement, and that kind of reminds me. So with these 10-game regular seasons, a little bit longer than the last little bits of high school, like your high school career with COVID on and off, whatever. Do you think that playing the 10-game season going into the playoffs, not like I guess fatigued wouldn't be the right word, but would you say that the regular season kind of wears down on you as you get into that first round of the playoffs?
I wouldn't say that really wears down on us, because like if you look at Division I programs, they play 12-game regular season, so 10 games, that's like a standard season. And excuse me,
You good?
sorry. I would say 10 games is perfect. Honestly, just 5 games home, 5 games away. Usually, we had a little hiccup this year where we traveled. First 3 weeks, we were on the road 3+ hours away, staying at hotels, which isn't normal for our program. So that was definitely taking some getting used to. But just staying in the trainers, we have great training facilities at Susquehanna. Mike Keeney, the head trainer, he definitely helps a lot. The whole training staff, getting the leg sleeves, getting the ice bath, just keeping your body fresh. It keeps you available. The best ability is availability. So 10 games definitely not too much, but yeah, just important to keep taking care of your body so you're available.
Yeah, I got you. And so, yeah, after what's been a pretty successful start to your collegiate career, what are you really looking forward to? And do you have any goals specifically set out that you're trying to accomplish in your now junior season?
My junior season, I would like to see my leadership skills grow within the team because honestly, like I would, for me personally, I would like to improve my pass rush and my endurance on the field because I just feel like, especially now, we lost a big piece in the middle of our defensive line, Cameron Noble. Uh, there's going to be more responsibility on like my position and me specifically. So just making sure I'm ready for the season and just taking that next step towards maturity where I'm not the young guy anymore. I'm a junior. And yeah, just being a leader on the field. And that doesn't mean yelling at people all the time. That could just be my play, never wavering, uh, not getting caught up in the fog of war where you everything starts going real fast and you don't know what to do. Just staying calm and just playing my game and trusting the work I did over the summer and I'm going to do over the summer is going to pay off on the field.
Spoken like a true leader right there. All right, my boy. With your work off the field, are you doing anything specifically to improve, your pass rush? And really with the leadership, that's kind of something, you either have it or you don't. Obviously, like you can work on it in certain ways, and it really just kind of comes with the experience of seeing the last 2 years. But really I guess steps that you haven't taken yet, but what steps are you planning on taking throughout this summer to better yourself in those areas?
I'm definitely I'm actually going to a new gym now, a power train out in Westchester. So I know a couple guys that went there and go there, and they're helping me specifically in my explosiveness off the ball, which is one of my stronger points on the field. I feel like just getting off the ball and beating someone to the spot, but just keep my feet moving and having a bag of pass rush moves, like uh, and that starts with researching, honestly. So football takes research sometimes. Going on YouTube, looking at different players' moves like Nick Bosa, Reggie White, getting an idea from that. You only really need one or two, honestly. A couple more so that the same ones don't keep showing up on film. But definitely, ladder drills help with that. Explosive lifts like quarter squat and exploding out of it. Jump roping, believe it or not, like keeping your feet fresh and quick. So yeah, definitely taking those steps towards becoming a better pass rusher.
Got you, got you. The jump roping instantly brought me flashbacks of Coach Gabe and the wrestling doing
Yeah,
the jumping jacks
yeah,
after
dude.
lifts.
Oh my god.
But yeah, excited to see where you kind of go from here. Where it's crazy to think we're already halfway through
It's
college,
crazy, man.
turning to the junior season next year. Just kind of felt wrong coming out of my mouth in the first place. Like, damn.
2 years of football ever left. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's insane to think about.
And I feel like that's something you would kind of use as motivation this summer
Definitely.
while you're working out.
It's hitting. It's starting to hit me now. Like that aspect of it. Like there's nothing. Don't save anything in the tank. Like just go all out, burn all that gas in the next few years because after that you're done. There's nothing left to use that on, and I'm just trying to appreciate being able to play the sport still. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're not gonna wrap things up here. We are gonna transition into some current events. I don't know about you, but I've been very invested in these NBA playoffs. The NFL draft obviously just happened not too long ago. Players signing deals. There's just kind of a lot to go on. I think we're gonna stick mostly this episode to the NBA playoffs, though. Yeah, we'll transition to that and get into that after this quick break. We'll be right back. And we're back here on episode 4 of CmitchClips. I'm your host, as always, Christian Mitchell, still alongside by Brian Layton.
What's up, guys?
We want to get into the NBA playoffs here, as it's been a very interesting time. Round 2 is fully underway. So we're going to pretty much cover the remaining, I don't want to say 4. We're going to do deep dives into the remaining 3 series, excluding the Celtics and Cavs. As going into tonight's win or go home game for the Cavs. They're down Mitchell, Karis LeVert, and somebody else notable. Cannot think of their names, but don't think it's going to matter too much, as the Cavs were already pretty outmatched. Only got the 1. To go down to 5 in the Celtics is probably the most realistic option. Switching things up, the first series we're going to hop into is the Mavericks and the Thunder. That series is currently tied at 2-2, and it has been great. It's produced 4 games of great basketball. There's been some antics like Luka missing one of his free throws at the end of last game, which is ultimately the reason that the Mavericks are not up 3-1 in this series. But 2-2, headed back to Oklahoma City. Brian, who do you think has the edge in this series and why?
I personally think that the Mavericks have the edge in this game. Game 5, very important in the series. Most teams that go to win Game 5 end up winning the series. I think that Luka and Kyrie's experience in the NBA playoffs will take precedent over this very young Thunder team. As fun as they are to watch, with SGA and Chet and all those guys. I just think that the experience will trump the young players in this instance.
Yeah, I want to agree. I do. Like you said, the team that wins the Game 5 in a series like this typically wins outright, unless you're any version of the Philadelphia 76ers like last year against the Celtics, which I'm still not fully over, but with the Mavs and the Thunder, the Mavs experience should and has, kind of won them some games, whether it's been Kyrie or even with Luka struggling, still been able to get it done from big games from PJ Washington coming out of nowhere, not nowhere, but in a role that's bigger than he probably thought he was going to be in after being traded for at the deadline. And while the Thunder have been such a fun team to watch, and their inexperience is, starting to show now against the Mavericks, I still, the games in OKC, there ain't much to do in OKC but watch basketball. Those crowds,
very true.
Yeah, those crowds be electric, and I think that's just such an advantage in the playoffs. In a pivotal Game 5, I'm gonna go Thunder here. Shea, man, what other player can drop like 35 without a 3-pointer? It's like what we thought prime Ben Simmons was gonna do.
Oh yeah, that bum.
And Shea is just awesome. The mid-range, he can pretty much finish over anybody. It's just like if he puts his head down and gets to the rim, he's scoring most of the time. J-Dub is coming off of a struggling game, and he is young. This is his first real season of kind of being, I don't even want to say he's that guy yet, but like that guy, he's for sure their third star along Chet and SGA. And then also Chet, this is pretty much his rookie campaign, after missing all of last year. See him coming out, and he's just like the perfect NBA 4-5 now. Just lanky, skinny, blocks, runs the floor, can shoot. He's like a mini version of Kristaps Porzingis, and he's been perfect in year 1 on the Thunder. I just think that they're going to be able to kind of, I just think the home floor provides such a big advantage for the Thunder that they're going to be able to pull this game out. You know what they say, that role players hit their shots at home in the playoffs, and that could be huge for a guy like Lou Dort on the Thunder.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Thunder there.
Okay.
I do think it's gonna be a close game. I'm not a betting man most of the time because it doesn't end well. I'm gonna put that on the record. But yeah, I'm just gut saying Thunder. Although I'm unbiased in the series here because I love Luka and Kyrie, especially together. Love Kyrie, and this is the best Kyrie we've seen since he's left the Nets.
Yeah.
Maybe even since he's left the Cavs, to be honest with you. No antics, just hoops out here.
It was a disaster, so
yeah,
I think you might be right.
That was horrible.
Even though the other night he dropped 9 points.
This season as a whole. We'll go season as a whole.
Yeah.
You know,
he's a step up this game.
Definitely. Yeah, he's not off the court, causing some antics. He's actually, tying up his shoes, going into work and playing ball. And he's been great next to Luka, and really for this team. When Luka struggled, especially, he's been kind of similar to a Jimmy Butler type closer, honestly. As of late, there's been some struggles. He's been getting put in the Lou Dort, the torture chamber out there. But so is Luka, and as long as one of those guys is scoring, I think the Mavs are going to be okay. Just not tonight. Not tonight. The Thunder got the versatility. They've got the depth, and shout out to Isaiah Joe too, former Sixer, out here getting buckets in the playoffs.
Yeah.
3-point specialist.
Definitely could use them. It's the Knicks, Sixers, but yeah.
Yeah, now he's
Happy
out here.
for him.
Exactly. So I'm gonna stay with the Thunder. We're gonna transition over into the next series, which is probably the most media covered series so far of this playoffs. It seems everybody and their mom was talking about Ant Edwards after the Timberwolves went up 2-0, and we're 6-0 to start the postseason. That was a pretty big conversation as Ant kind of took that leap. Is he MJ's son? No, he's not, but he's pretty damn good.
Is he?
Yeah, that's what the streets are saying. That's what they were saying when they're up 2-0 at least. Like,
this is what we thought Zion was going to be.
Yeah, still sucks we haven't been able to see Zion in the playoffs, honestly.
Yeah.
But back to Ant. He's been great throughout the playoffs and has kind of put up, I don't want to say a bad game, but for Ant Edwards standards, a bad game coming off of game 5. He had to put them down 3-2. I believe he had 18 points on 16 shots. Just not very efficient, not very assertive either, like we've seen Ant. And also for the Nuggets side of things, I guess Aaron Gordon, according to Rudy Gobert, is now Kobe Bryant, not missing shots no more, putting the offense on his back, and he's really been their X factor this series. For game number 6, I believe it is in game number 6 is in Denver. Game 7 would be in Minnesota. I'm honestly going to think that the Nuggets close out the Timberwolves here in 6, just their home floor. It's hard to play in Denver. The altitude is quite literally different there.
Yeah. Air is different.
Yeah, and it's just the Nuggets seem to be in that playoff mode where it's like they don't miss. It's like when they play, it's like the fourth quarter of the Lakers games. Whether it was last year, this year, the regular season this year, they just don't miss. It's like Michael Porter Jr., he's not passing it. He's shooting the ball, and it's butter.
He's struggling, too.
Yeah.
If he gets going, it's scary.
For sure. He's the perfect kind of connector piece. And, Jokic has, after, again, don't want to say struggling because he's putting up some decent stat lines, but for Jokic, a 3-time MVP, not his best work. But the last, now 3 games, have been not all Nuggets, but the Nuggets that we've seen really last year, and the same Nuggets team that we just saw win a championship. So for that reason, I'm gonna go with the Nuggets. Who you got, Billy?
I'm going with the Nuggets too. I just think that the Timberwolves window closed, and they had them by the neck, by the throat, and they should have just kept going, and they didn't take their opportunity. I feel like Cat saying that they're a big 3 and Gobert and Ant, and then not showing up and getting dominated by Jokic with someone who was the defensive player of the year. They just had their chance. They were up 2-0 with Anthony Edwards playing like Michael Jordan in the 90s, and they just let the Nuggets find their feet. And as I just said, Michael Porter Jr. isn't even playing his best. So yeah, I think I got the Nuggets. I got the Nuggets as well. So
yeah, championship windows close and open so fast in all of sports. I feel like probably the fastest they open and close in basketball, just because of how streaky teams can get.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're the Timberwolves, bro, you were up 2-0 taking it back to Minnesota. That is literally your dream. They were probably told, the coach was probably preaching, take one in Denver, break their home court, and we go back and win in Minnesota, and that's just not what has happened. Like you said, it kind of seemed like their wheels fell off. They had the Nuggets right where they want them and where no other team in the past 2 years has gotten them to. Yeah. Jamal Murray was struggling. Jokic was, getting clowned on Twitter and Instagram and everything. He wasn't looking like himself. like you said, Michael Porter Jr. wasn't, knocking down every shot like it normally feels like he is. But man, bro, the Nuggets are just such like they're not the most flashy team, but they get it done. Every player in their starting five plays some sort of role, and they know their roles, and it just works. It's not the flashiest ball, but it works.
If I can compare cross sport here, like you just said, they just get the job done. They're not flashy. They put their head down. It can be compared to Man City over in the Premier League. They under Pep Guardiola, they do the same system. They're not a flashy team, but they've been dominant for the past 3 years, going for their fourth title. So I see a lot of similarities between the Nuggets and them. Jokic just leading them. He's a very humble guy. I feel like that's where it starts. Like the rest of the players are gonna follow the best player, and he's humble. He's not flashy. His brothers are up in the stands fighting people, but Jokic, like, it's not that he doesn't care. He cares, but like he just has this like vibe about him where he's like, I want to go home and back home in Europe and just play with my horses, and I'm just a hooper. Like that's how they play. They're not doing things for the cameras. They're doing things to win the game and just play basketball, which you hit that around the head.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jokic is kind of like he's nonchalant. He's just like the most chill kind of guy ever. And like that, you can say that's a pro and a con, to be honest. Like pro side, he's never rattled. When have we ever seen this Nuggets team, just kind of look flustered like that? Even when they were getting clamped up, and I mean clamped up by the Wolves, especially in the first two games.
Yeah.
They just kind of never really lost their composure. Obviously lost those two games, but they responded. They weren't flashy in their response. They just, start hitting their shots, playing better defense, rebounding the ball better, and it's been perfect for them so far. I really want to give Aaron Gordon his flowers because I feel like his career is kind of something we don't really see anymore. I mean, even like 5 years ago, he was the face of the Magic.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, like he's pretty much Blake Griffin on the Magic now. Like this generation's Blake Griffin. Like he's the Magic star player. The offense went through him. And then you see him get traded to the Nuggets after things ultimately just didn't really work out there. And now he goes from a leading scorer on a team to seemingly like the leading defensive player for the team on a very good defensive team. It's not something you really see happen often. And I'm sure that a lot of guys in the NBA personally just wouldn't accept like a role like that to go from, I'm going to average 20 plus, I'm going to get the ball whenever I want to, yeah, maybe I might not get the ball whenever I want, but I'm going to play good defense. I'm going to lead this unit. And it turns out he can play championship level defense as they won last year and are, looking good to be back in the Western Conference Finals this year.
Yeah.
So I just want to give him his little quick shout out and how the Nuggets have just been really like a machine, honestly. Even Jamal Murray, he was struggling the first two games. Specifically the first two games. He's really come to life for them now. And it seems like they just got things clicking. And when this Nuggets team has things clicking, there's no stopping them. It's like, how do you guard Jokic if he's going to make these contested threes these deep contested threes, but then you can't double him because if he's doubled, he's making that pass every single time.
I'll tell you, I can stop Jokic, Joel Embiid, but that's a different story for a different day.
That's a story for the regular season.
Yeah, obviously, because Sixers can't get past this second round, let alone the first. So
yeah. But shout out to the Nuggets, man. Did Jokic deserve that third MVP? That's also a different conversation for a different day. But he's really responded to a lot of the hate and a lot of the really just shade that's been thrown on his name the past few weeks. But yeah, now the Nuggets are back cruising. I'm going to take them to win this series. And I don't know if I'm going to take them to win the West outright, but I wouldn't, truly place that much of a bet against them. Moving forward to another series that I wanted to hit on, it is. I'm trying to think of what the series.
Celtics, Cavs.
Not that one. I'm trying to. I'm stuttering here. They played last night, I believe. Pacers-Knicks. Yes, exactly. I don't know why I couldn't think of that, but Pacers-Knicks. Yeah, Knicks just won by 30 billion points in Madison Square Garden last night to take a 3-2 lead on the Knicks in what could be and probably is a pivotal Game 5, like we were talking about earlier.
No, sorry, Knicks took the lead on the Pacers.
Yeah. Knicks are up 3-2 after last night, and after things were kind of sputtering for them after OG got hurt, obviously already dealing with Randall being down, and as well as Mitchell Robinson now being shut down for the series, well, end the season. Obviously, we saw the Sixers season end to the Knicks, so that's kind of got us feeling a certain type of way.
I have a question about that for you. Would you rather the team we lost to as Sixers fans win the win the championship, or would you rather watch them crash and burn because they did us dirty?
See, like, I never thought that, like, I had high hopes for the Sixers team. Like, it was realistically, we were never going to win a championship. Like, there's just not enough on the team, especially this year. Like, this is one of the weaker teams we've had, especially, like, star power wise. And I believe you need that as well as some role players to win. And we had the role players, had the coaching, just I feel like we needed that third kind of star.
Yeah.
Just was not there. So I think I'd rather just watch the Knicks crash and burn, honestly.
I agree.
Like, me and Gavin have been having this debate, actually. So I asked him, I was like, would you rather see the Knicks? Like, who would you rather, if you found out these two teams won the championship, who would you rather have win? And it would be the Celtics or the Knicks. Two of, like, the most hated teams in this area.
If it came down to Celtics and the Knicks, I would take the Knicks.
Okay, see, thank you. This is what I've been trying to tell him. Like, they're so caught up in this Knicks. Like, I can't stand the Knicks right now. Brunson had just turned into Trae Young. Like, look, Joel flops. We have no reason to say anything, but Brunson was doing it, just pretty much just the same way, if not getting more calls because it's easier to sell at being just like 6'2". I cannot stand the Boston Celtics. Hate them. It's not a rivalry. They always kick our ass. That's just how it is, and it's like.
The city of Boston as a whole,
yeah. I mean, New York is like, you know how extra they be too, but I would rather see the Knicks win than the Celtics. I would like both teams. I don't like, but the Celtics are like the Celtics are my Cowboys of the NFL.
Okay.
Like, never do you ever want to see them win. So we're getting off topic, but. That's just kind of how I've been feeling. Specifically with this Knicks Pacers series. I mean, shout out to Brunson, I guess. He's been out there literally willing the Knicks to win as of late, especially with him, DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart are kind of not the only guys out there, but those are the main three contributors, and like that does not sound like a team that would find success this deep in the postseason.
Nova Knicks, man.
Yeah, Nova Knicks, but that's exactly what's happened is they've been successful, now on the verge, a win away from the conference finals, a place they haven't been in a while. And for the Pacers side, I'll ask you first. Who do you think the Knicks close this out in 6?
I'm not sure, honestly. I don't have a decisive pick on this one. I would like to see them lose. That would be something I'm interested in seeing. Halliburton come through at the Pacers, which honestly, if you asked me a year ago if it would be the Pacers or Knicks to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, I would probably be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I don't know who's going to close out tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been a good series. Starting to get scrappy, specifically last night with Dante DiVincenzo and Miles Turner. Love seeing that in basketball, by the way. Especially in the playoffs. It's like, let them play. Let them talk their shit. It's okay. Please. That's what we want to see more of. Yeah. For me, though, I don't like the Knicks, but I just think they've been a all-around better team than the Pacers pretty much since the All-Star break, which is kind of the thick of the regular season and what I don't want to say what really matters in the regular season, but because I don't really view the regular season too deeply anyway. But I'm gonna go Knicks. I don't think the Pacers are a very young team around Halliburton, and Halliburton's been too inconsistent for me. While he's been great at times, he's also been 2019 Ben Simmons, and he takes like 5 shots a game, or it's just not even that, but just not like assertive enough. Just want to see more of that from him. Like. That Nembhard game winner the other night was crazy, but Hallie missed the first shot.
Yeah.
Then you don't I'm sure he was hugging Nembhard in the locker room, everything, getting all hyped because he kind of bowed him out in a way.
Yeah, he did.
But
that was crazy to watch, dude.
That was nuts. He put that up, and I was like, oh well, there goes the Knicks another win, and then that kind of was a turning point for a little bit. But yeah, back against the wall for the Pacers. I'm just, it was a good run. Nice seeing y'all back in the playoffs. Love me some Hallie, just not this year. Pascal Siakam's also been pretty good, honestly. We'll see if he re-signs. I just don't think this is the Pacers' time. I think the Knicks are a better opponent. I think the Knicks are probably the only team, well, now the only team left that can, even have a chance at beating the Celtics in 7.
Yeah.
Obviously, hope they get OG Anunoby back for that if that is the series. But I'm gonna go Knicks here, and that kind of is gonna. Do you have anything more to add?
Man, I just gotta say Boston versus New York in Eastern Conference Finals. Like, as much as I hate both teams, like that would be classic.
Yeah.
And I feel like it will get. But the way the Knicks have been playing, it'll be so chippy and it'll be so entertaining. It'll feel like old school basketball. I feel like as much as we hate on old school basketball sometimes in this generation with some of the old heads like trying to bring it on us that they were tougher and that their basketball is better. You can't deny that it's a little bit more entertaining. Like the Sixers series, for example, is just I was so entertained watching them just like go at it, be so physical with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited if that series comes to fruition, and I'm just looking forward to what comes next with these playoffs. Very entertaining playoffs so far.
Yeah, exactly. Two of the biggest markets in basketball. I mean, arguably, what, like the two biggest outside of LA.
Yeah.
It's probably the only other team that gives you a run for that. I mean, the Knicks and the Celtics. Is this 2024 or is this 1967? Don't know, but yeah, like you said, I would love to see more physicality, and I think those two teams will really bring it. The Celtics, great defensive team, and the Knicks have just been absolute scrap dogs the last pretty much this entire year, especially in the postseason. Shout out to Josh Hart. But I'm going to kind of put a wrap on things for today. Should be pretty good games to talk about by the time this next episode comes out. We'll be having another guest on the pod, but I want to thank you, Belay, for sitting down, scheduling some time away to record this pod.
Me,
Of course, man. I want to wish you good luck at Susky for the next year, and just really thank you for being on.
Thank you. If anyone wants to come up, first game of the season, Friday night under the lights, so it'll be a good one against Bridgewater, open the season. Yeah.
All right, y'all. I want to thank you guys for listening. Have a good one.